We're live.
Hi, we're live with BB Breakdown 902. I'm Melissa, and Lindsay's just uploading our links right now to Facebook and Twitter so that all you lovely people that tune into us can join us live or after the fact, of course. We're going to talk tonight about Double Eviction. I just rewatched it. I'm super excited to talk about it. Lots to say. It won't only be about Netta tonight, guys. So if some of you were turned off from last week in our excessive Netta talk, there will be a lot of talk about that because what have went down in the pantry on Double Eviction night, but it won't be solely on Netta tonight. We'll also talk about that secret veto reveal that was snipped into the feeds today and posted all over Twitter. So we'll hash that out at the end. And of course, as always, the end will be about spoilers for all the people that don't watch live feeds and don't want to know spoilers. Just shut us off when we say it's going to be a spoiler alert at the end. So let's get into it. There's so much to say. I'm not going to go through, like normally I go through the week, but there's no point really going through the week and going through what happened. We're just going to snip it to like the Emily Dylan up on the block leading into Double Eviction and all the fallout that kind of happened around that. So the Kevin and William fallout over Kevin not using his veto, I guess we'll kind of grace over that because Big Brother is making them out to be a showman, which on feeds Kevin was in William's HOH room every single night while William was HOH. Do you think that they're an actual showman and that they have feelings for each other, Linz, or do you think this is just production playing it up for the few moments that they've had that we've seen?
I mean, didn't they kiss though?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I know they've kissed and they've done more than that. If you
Well, then
watch,
I don't really think production can, you can't make that up, really. Like,
but Kevin's going in the DR and he's saying it's all game, it's all game, it's only game. Do you
well,
think that's the truth, or do you think he has feelings for William, or
I
do you not have
think,
an opinion?
no, I think he obviously has feelings. I like Williams, like, I'm not a boy toy and blah, blah, blah. But like, I don't know. I don't know. The whole thing seems like, I think they're just having fun. And I think it's pretty boring in that house after a while. And like, we see like the fun, exciting parts, but I think it gets boring. And I think they enjoy one another's company enough to like make out. And, like, as soon as like Kevin betrayed him, he was like, oh, it's okay. Like, let's hug. Like, I mean, when he's with Dre, he gets riled up. But when he's not with Dre and he's with Kevin, he seems like he's into it. So I think they enjoy one another's company, and I think that uh, do they both serve a purpose to each other's game? Sure, but I think you're stuck in a house for 24 hours and you're attracted to someone, you're gonna do your thing.
Yeah, I think there's real feelings definitely from the Williams standpoint. This week, Kevin not doing any game related stuff that he wanted him to do. I think Williams kind of at this impasse where he's like, okay, am I just your boy toy to fool around with and have like the kind of closed doors relationship with and no further than that? So I think he was feeling kind of played this week because Kevin wasn't considering anything he wanted to do. And that really showed because William wanted Dylan voted out, and nobody voted Dylan out except for Dre. So I hope that William and Dre this week, after everything that happened, and we'll get into that as well, hopefully their eyes are a little more open to the house and their house's true intentions on like where their loyalties lie. Because this week it definitely wasn't with William and Dre. As much as Ika and Dimitri and everybody else promised that their loyalties lied with those the French Connection, they really have each other from what I saw this week anyway.
Yeah.
And moving forward, I hope that they're not targets because I do enjoy them. I do enjoy watching them on feeds and I enjoy watching them on the show, and I look forward to hearing what they have to say in the diary room. So I don't know. Anyhow, okay, so
Let's talk
ultimately,
about what really matters.
yeah, let's do it. So moving forward, Emily leaves and they announce it's a double eviction and that Netta's immunity is over. And the minute after they announced that, did you notice? Because I of course watched this like a gazillion times, as you probably already know. But the minute that they announced that Netta's immunity was over, Kevin, Bruno, Cindy, and Netta all kind of sat on the same couch, like sat together, like they moved together, and then everybody else was kind of on the other couch. So it was like, it looked like the sides were split and the markings were in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't turn out that way, which is sad. So they go to this before and after HOH, and it comes down to Cindy and Kevin, and they have to guess about the dodgeballs. And Cindy, she makes this really low ball number of 22 when the real answer, I wrote it down somewhere, I think it was 152 or something. Oh, 155, yeah. That was the real answer. And she had this low ball number of 22, and the whole time she was mouthing, I don't want to win, I don't want to win, I don't want to win. And then she ends up winning because Kevin, her opponent, had gone over, and the fallout happened. So Ika gets to her first and basically gives her an ultimatum of me or Netta, put Netta on the block, show where your loyalties are. And anyways, and so then we go into the veto, and it was this veto that, like, in my opinion, was kind of made for small people. Like, it was the where you had to go through with all these different and untangle yourself. And it was, for me, it was made for like small people that could maneuver around really quickly. And it didn't seem like any of the small people were moving quickly. And Jackie being on the block, because, sorry, I forgot to mention that Cindy, we all know, nominated Jackie and Dylan, the easy noms. Jackie goes into this beast mode. Jackie, were you surprised by this? And were you excited? Because I was like screaming at the TV at her for like at least a minute to go and try and touch the button, because she clearly had enough slack, because she had gone like crazy through all these loops and hoops, which I never expected from her. Were you shocked, as I was?
No, I wasn't shocked. I did think Cindy had a good shot. I think Netta had a good shot. Like, I think like anybody who's like tiny could get through. That was not designed for Dylan. Dylan could never have done that. Yeah, I was a little bit shocked by her performance. I always forget about Jackie, which makes me feel really bad, but good for her for getting herself off, because I think if it were up to Cindy, had she not won, she may have just kept the noms the same. And we've seen in a lot of different Big Brothers, Canada and the US, when double evictions happen and they're just like, wah wah. Like, they get out like this boring player that you're like, if Jackie or Dylan had gone home, I would have been like, whoop-de-doo, and we wouldn't have been excited and the internet wouldn't have blown up. Like, the reason it was so good and it's so talked about, why my friend Evan like texted me and was like, Big Brother, what? Because it was epic. It was epic. And Jackie winning, yay. And then she had to do something, and Cindy had to do it and show her cards, and it was not an easy decision for her to make. She knew it was the right decision, and everyone in the house knew it was the right decision, because they could never get her out. This was their shot. They had her pinned against the wall. They had to do it. And when Kevin was like hesitating in the like the DR room, and he was like, who am I kidding? I know what we're all doing. Like, that was like, yep, it's going down. Like, it was something. It was something.
Yeah.
But we have a question, though. Somebody asked us a question. They said, between the two of you, who could have done that POV comp better?
Oh, out of all the people?
No, out of you and I. Between the two of us.
I don't know. Out of us, I think, like, I am actually, like, when I was a kid, I used to like untangle all my mom's necklaces, because for some reason she used to like get her necklaces in a tangle and then never untangle them. And I don't know why it bothered me so much. And this is a nerdy random fact that I'm throwing out there, but I had this thing when I was a kid that I would always untangle my mom's tangled necklaces. So I think I'd have a pretty good shot. I don't know that I've got the best balance for going through those hoops and loops, but I think I'd have a decent shot between the two of us. What do you think? What do you think?
I think that you would win, because I like pie and I can't move that fast.
That was the best line probably of this whole show that we're doing.
Thanks for your question, Big Brother Ant.
Thank you for your question. That was amazing. Okay, sorry. Wine in me, and that was funny. That's why I love this girl. Okay, moving forward. Who I think should have won that comp, honestly, honest to God, is one of the two skinny girls is I think that either Ika or Netta, and they're both skinny. I'm sorry, I'm saying it. They're skinny they're petite women. That's a better word, because skinny always sounds like such an ugly word, but it's so commonly used for smaller ladies. So the petite stature, this was like designed for them. And somehow they didn't, neither Ika or Netta didn't pull out a win. So I was surprised in that regard, but anyhow. So yeah, Cindy makes this epic, like, decision, which tore her up. It was so clear to everybody to put Netta on the block. However, now we saw a sneak peek tonight, because we always see in tonight's episode, like, the scenes we missed in the double eviction. And they did a sneak peek with ET Canada, and ET Canada just posted it like 20-30 minutes ago, that Bruno and Kevin tried to talk Cindy out of her putting Netta up before she put her up. They tried to talk her out of it. And so that really shows that how much trust Cindy had in Ika, and how much influence Ika really does have over the house in general.
Maybe if Netta didn't pick on her so much, she wouldn't have put her up.
And that's debatable. We debated that in the last episode. So if you guys want to check out our debate about the whole jokes corner, where Netta was joking with Cindy, you can check out our last episode, because we spent quite a bit of time.
Well, I think that Ika made her move. Ika has proven to be quite a powerhouse this season.
Question: what? Do you think it was Ika's move or Cindy's move putting Netta on the block?
Ika.
100%.
100%. The thing is that Ika and Dimitri, like, this is what happens when you're in a showman's. Like, you become a target, and they might not be this week, but the reality of the situation is that they're going to be, and right now she had to make her move. She knows Netta's her number one competitor. She knows that she would never win against Netta. So the reality is that she struck, and Cindy was the one that took the bullet. And, like, full on disclosure, like, Netta probably doesn't even, like, blame her that much. She's probably like, that was all Ika. I mean, when she came out and she was like bawling, which was really sad. It was interesting. I didn't think she'd cry, because she doesn't seem to show a lot of emotion. So yeah.
So this is the thing, and it's come out on the internet that there's fans that are called stans, and I didn't know what a stan was either until this week. That a stan, do you know what a stan is?
No.
So a stan is a cross between a fan and a stalker. So the Twitterverse has put it together and calls stalker fans stans. So people that follow way too closely on social media, these Big Brother characters we all know, love, and hate. And I think I'm a stan for Netta. Like, I follow her way too closely.
You think?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna admit it. I'm a stan. I should go to AA. But anyhow, she is a super fan. For anybody that knows her and follows her on all the podcasts she does off season, or follows her Twitter or whatever, she knows the game. She watches the game on many platforms, not just on the US/Canada platform. She watches UK. She watched Australia. She knows Big Brother. She loves the game. And for her, and she said it in interviews after the fact as well, when she wasn't bawling her eyes out. And to be honest, guys, like, I had a few tears too. Not just because it was Netta, but because that was a person coming out of the house being booed by fans to a game that she loves, like, more than anything. And, like, she's a super fan as much as we all are, and she's a human. And it was very cruel how she was treated. Although in the UK they boo and they cheer for fans. But anyway. Go there.
Big Brother Ant said, yeah, so sad. I played a tiny violin for Netta, laughing my ass off. And then he said, you're wearing a Black and Saint shirt. Of course you're a fan.
Thank you, Big Brother Ant. I do follow you on Twitter, and I find you quite enjoyable. Just putting that out there. Anyhow, well, we follow you collectively, and I find you enjoyable. I don't know how much Lindsay reads of your tweets, but I find them quite enjoyable.
Maybe I'm not a stand or whatever.
You're not a stand, a Big Brother Ant. I
not a Big Brother Ant, just of, like, the show. Like, I'm in it. I watch the feeds, but you're in it. You're in it.
I am. Yeah, so we're getting kind of off topic. I love you, Big Brother Ant. Thank you for doing that for us. what were we saying? Oh, about Netta for leaving. So it was a unanimous vote. Are you surprised by that? Are you surprised that knowing that it would be pretty unanimous that Kevin or Bruno didn't throw her a bone and give her a vote?
I think that at that point they knew which way it was going. They didn't want to stand out, so they had to do what they had to do. That's a scary thing.
Yeah, I guess. It just sucks though, because like why this season I love Big Brother. In the first half it's most always let's do what the house wants, let's do what the house wants, but at some point we have to, like, you have to go against each other. So when are we
Yeah,
going to
but
stop
then
doing?
why would Jackie vote for Dylan to go out? Why? She did.
I know, I didn't understand that either, and I watch feeds quite a lot, and I don't know how Dylan swayed her. Or was it Dylan, or was it the six that swayed her? I'm not really sure. If anyone watching wants to chime into that, chime into us. I'm not really sure why Jackie went in that direction, because Emily was a close ally. Moving forward, that would have been Jackie's number one in the game, and Jackie has no one. She's a lone
Well,
ranger.
but maybe her vote was like indicative of the fact that she has no one and she didn't even know what was going on around her. Like maybe she just didn't know.
Yeah, but she was close to Emily. I'm not sure why she would do that. That to me, I don't really follow. There's a few people on feeds that just bore me. I'm sorry. I really want to like the newbies as much as I like the vets. I do, because I'm a Big Brother fan. But
Yeah.
there's people that I just care not to listen to on feeds, and Jackie is one of them. I'm sorry, Jackie. I loved your beast mode veto comp. If you could show more of that on the feeds, I would follow you all day long. But you just, for me, I need a little more. I guess I'm a gamer in the sense that I need a little more strategy, and I just don't hear any strategy from the girl. I'm really sorry, Jackie. If you show up to the feeds the way you show up to comps, I will follow you all day long on feeds. But anyway, um, way off topic. Yeah, there was one thing I wanted to ask you though, and hear your opinion on. Do you think that it's fair that we hear the audience, like when they're saying, "Oh, Netta's immunity's over," and everyone's like cheering so massively loudly, and then when the blowout in the pantry is going on, they're cheering, and the house guests can hear them, and when they chime in, like when they're voting, they can hear the audience cheering that they're voting Netta out, or not voting Netta out. Do you think that was fair, and do you think that played on some of the votes, that Canada was no longer a Netta fan, and knowing how much Canada plays into our version of Big Brother, that moving forward some of these house guests were like, oh, if Canada doesn't like Netta, I shouldn't be shown as like being an ally to her? Do you think that's part of
I
the reason?
think that it's important that they kind of know what's going on outside. And people probably didn't know why. Like, you're pretty blind in there as to what's going on outside and how you're being perceived, because there is a lot of edits. And I think you're right. Like we've talked about it before, Ned has been made out to be the villain. Ika's like the warrior, like all that. And so I think it helps them strategize in a way, but at the same time, it can also hurt their game because they get cocky, or they get like Netta's probably like, or sorry, not Netta, Ika's probably like, I've been right this whole time, trust me, so it helps like their game a little bit. I don't know, I don't think it's cheating, and I think it's they Canada had some strong reactions, and it's interesting. I don't know, what do you think?
Well, it's just like, if during our podcast, for some reason, let's say we were like blowing up our podcast, and we had like a lot of people tuning in live, let's say, and we had like a little, like, because on some podcasts they have a chat room, and we had like all these people saying like, oh, you suck, or that's such a ridiculous comment, or blah blah blah, and like, would that like kind of dissuade us for like being so open and honest the way we are, because we don't have a lot, you know what I mean, like we don't have thousands of people watching and commenting, and like having that added pressure, like, oh, we have to be a little more neutral rather than being so opinionated. Do you know what I mean? Would
Yeah,
that,
but I think like the reality of the situation is like,
because
regardless of the fact if they hear it or they don't hear it, they're still on video 24/7 every single day. So
I know, but I tweeted out the video of Netta, like, I'm going back to her again, I'm sorry. Like saying, I'm sorry, Canada, like I'm playing this game for me and my mom and my family. Like I'm not playing it like to gain like more fans. I'm playing it to win. And I'm sorry I got these like fan favorites out. Like she was basically like apologizing to Canada because in the previous episode she heard how much Canada disagreed with decisions she was making because of like the live show. And so she made like this live feed kind of open, well, not open statement. She was in a room by herself talking to Canada and talking to the feedsters, which wasn't shown on the live show, but it was basically like apologizing to the live feeds for not doing things that I guess they liked. And so it does play into your mind a bit, like I'm sure in the house, like, am I playing the right game? Should I be playing a little bit differently? Should I be a little more laid back? Should I not be making these big moves? Do you think if she would have been a little more laid back with her immunity and not made big moves, like getting Cass and Gary out, that she would have lasted longer at this double eviction?
I think
not been a target?
maybe. I think that I'm not sure. I mean, she went after heavy hitters, and I think that these are beloved characters that we watch walk out the door. And so for that reason, I think Canada was like, how dare you get Gary out? How dare you get Cass out? Like, you should have worked together. And strategic wise, was it the right move for her? Sure. Yeah, totally. But the reality of the situation is that it really upset, like, me as a fan, because I was like, I don't want these people to go. Like, Karen's a lovely woman, but like, whoop-de-doo. Like, I don't know, Karen. I want Gary. I want Cass. Like, that's the money right there. And she got the money out. So that's my opinion. I will say that I think the fact that she's going to be sitting in jury and she's the first one in there and she's got like 2 months of that, one, poor her, and also two, poor everybody else that joins her, because I think she's going to be a miserable person in there.
Yeah, knowing her and knowing how her mind works, like in terms of the game, I think she's going to be analyzing everything she did. If she would have done it differently, like what would her outcome have been, and just over analyzing her game until somebody else gets there. And just imagine, I don't think it's going to happen this week, but imagine that Ika comes the next week and it's just her and Ika for a whole week alone.
We've got a real chat happening in our chat room right now. Everyone's saying, I loved hearing the fans and know that we're hearing them. Netta was made out to be villain. She's been the villain this season. Her ego and character have been villainess this season. Netta would have been gone as soon as immunity was over, no matter what, because she was the biggest target.
She was. And that's the other thing. Like, everybody's making it out to be like she got this free pass, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, she kind of did, but not everyone was saying that when they wanted their favorite player to have the free pass. Everybody voted for their favorite player. Everybody was equal opportunity. Netta really coming into the house. She had the biggest, out of all those players, other than Gary, because Gary did have, in my opinion, a game to uphold as well. Her and Gary were the biggest people, the most well-known people in Big Brother Canada history. Cassandra as well, because she just played. So sorry for all the Cass fans. But in terms of longevity, Gary and Netta are still remembered years later because they didn't just finish playing. And mind you, Cass was an amazing player. Her season would not have been the same without her. But in my opinion, was she as great as Gary and Netta? Maybe that's something for the chat room to discuss, and let's see what the opinion is. But
I think she was, because she was so fun. Like, you've got Gary, who was like glitter and like flamboyant and fantastic in all his light. You've got Cass, who's kind of like a bitches and like that kind of girl that you're like, I hate to love her, but I love her. And then you've got Netta, who's kind of like a gamer, and that's, and then like you've got Bruno, who's playing a fantastic game. Kevin, whoop-de-doo, no thank you. Never liked him on his season. Don't really know why he's there. And then you've got Ika, who is fantastic. She's fantastic, and she's doing really, really well. So yeah, I don't know.
In terms of gameplay and what we see all these players doing coming into the house, really, Ika has made the most of her return. She's really looked at her gameplay and where it went wrong last time and just did like this 360 in the terms of changed her gameplay. She's really in tune with the game this year. She's got a hand in a lot of eviction. She's the deciding vote every time, and everyone in that house, as much as they know that she's got a hand in everything and that she's a threat, they're afraid to go against her. They're afraid
Well,
of
this is what the group is saying. Netta's immunity was her John this season. She couldn't have made it, in my opinion, without John on BB Canada, and she would have been gone right away without that free pass. Netta and Cass were the biggest targets in the game. Gary's only remembered because he's been on every season of BB Can in some way, shape, or form. And then D. Daniels in here saying Netta and Bruno simply insisted on having their targets out over everyone else in their alliance. No give and take at all. Fairness on the Dylan and M vote, and her alliance might not have crumbled.
I'm not sure about that, because I think that in terms of loyalty, I think Netta was looking at it in terms of loyalty between Dylan and Emily, if we're going to go there. I think that out of the two, Dylan would have been more loyal to her than Emily, because let's face it, he's not that savvy in gameplay, like strategically. Like, he doesn't really, his emotions get the best of him most of the time in the game, as we see. He's not as big of a physical threat as he appears to be. And I think that's why Netta wanted to keep him over Emily. I think Emily was just starting to get in tune with the game when she was leaving the game. And as much as I didn't follow her on feeds to hear her evolution of gameplay, I did follow it like on other regards in our Twitter feed, like just of people tweeting about them. And for me, she's really caught onto the game a little more. And I think Netta maybe saw that as more of a person she couldn't control versus Dylan, somebody she could control a mold and have as a meat shield again. So I don't know. And plus, she kind of knew him outside the game from what I read on Twitter. So anyhow, now moving forward, let's talk about Let's talk about this secret veto and when we think it's going to be revealed and what we think the powers are going to be.
Like, wait, one question. Do you think Netta wanted to keep Dylan only due to his relationship with John and Arlie outside the game?
No, I think for the reasons I just kind of listed, she did have that connection, so that made her or him trust her, kind of have a blind trust in her, because they knew people outside of the game and he trusted those people. But I think in terms of being able to control, which Netta is very good at, like controlling people's opinions and swaying people's opinions in the game of like how she wants it to go. I think out of the two, she was able to control Dylan more, just because of how volatile we saw Emily be when she knew that she might be going out. She just threw like out. She had this kind of freak out. Well, not freak out, but like this little like, oh my God, I might be leaving, and just start throwing Bruno under the bus, which is what kind of Bruno stepped back a bit. And I had this in my notes saying like Bruno saw Emily out of the two of those, out of Emily and Dylan, saw Emily as his number one. And the minute that she kind of showed her cards that she could flip on them that easily, that was when I think they all collectively, Bruno, Netta, and Kevin said, she's out. She can't be controlled as easily as Dylan can be. I think that's how it went down in my mind from what I saw on feeds. But you guys tell us what you think. Do you think that's the reason Emily went, or do you think there's other reasons she went? Because from what I've seen, that's the only reason I could tell.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so before we get to the secret veto or whatever this is, which I don't know about, are you gonna say like who won HOH? Like you're 3 steps ahead.
So excited about secret veto. Okay, so we're gonna enter Spoilerville. So for anyone that doesn't want to hear about what we're gonna talk about, you can shut us off. It's only gonna last for another 10-15 minutes before the show starts. So we're entering Spoilerville. So shut us off if you don't want to hear it. So Dylan wins HOH. And I guess it's some sort of, I didn't really watch it a lot on feeds because I was working, but it was some sort of like buzzer challenge where like you had to like hold a buzzer and I think answer questions. I'm not really sure of the specifics. I just read a little bit about it on feeds when I was working, but I'm a shift worker, guys. But yeah, so he won, but apparently from what I heard, he was making up all these deals like similar to what he did in the challenge with Kevin, the veto challenge with Kevin, bribing people for safety purposes, like saying if you if you let me have this, you're safe. I promise you're safe. So I don't know if that played into his HOH win. I'm interested to see if they show that on the live show tonight. Well, not the live show, but the pre-taped show. But yeah, he won HOH. What are your thoughts on a Dylan HOH? Aside from us actually having to follow his gameplay a little more on feeds.
I think it's good because I think he's been kind of like, he's been through it in the last couple of weeks, and regardless of the fact of like, he lost his best friend in the game, this gives him a little bit more like juice in his tank, and I think that's good for him. I think he's kind of a weird player. I think is he on my team or your team?
He's on your team. My team.
Yes.
I'm going to show everybody just before you go on about Dylan. If whoever's watching right now, we did a fantasy draft before the season started of Big Brother, and my team is slowly dwindling. Here, I'll just show you guys. Can you see, Linz?
Yeah, I can see.
That's my team with all the X's.
Well, we can't see, like, we can only see a little bit, like only the top 3 players.
Better?
Sure.
See, that's my team. I'll post a picture after. Lindsay's team, basically the only person that's been eliminated on Lindsay's team, just to summarize, is Cassandra. She still has 2, 4, 6.
I'm gonna win this season.
And everybody on my team is dropping like flies.
You have like 2 people left.
I'll post a picture after our podcast, but anyways,
the reality of the situation is that I'm glad that Dylan won. Good for him. He needs it. He's kind of like an interesting player. Like, to me, and I've said this on this podcast, this vlog, whatever this is, before, I really think like he's a bit of a he just reminds me of like a little brother. Like, there's just like a pesky little guy that's like, go away, like, leave us alone. Like, well, my brother's not like that because he's an adult and has like a family and children. But I'm saying, like, when you're a little kid and you just want to play with your friends and your brother just keeps knocking on your door, like, won't like leave you alone. That's what Dylan's like. I think they all tolerate him, but I think they're annoyed by him. That being said, he has the power this week, and you know who he puts up.
Mm-hmm.
And you know why he put up one of them.
So you want to say who he put up?
Oh my God. So many comments. People are blowing up.
So Dylan wins HOH and he puts up Dimitri. And who was the other person he put up? Shoot. Jackie, I think, wasn't it? Dimitri and Jackie. Yes. Dimitri and Jackie. How did I forget this? Because of the whole. Okay, so I was just about to go into the truces that
Wait. Okay, D. Daniel says Dylan has been very smart as an HOH. I've listened to him talk to every house guest left, and he's so much better than he gets credit for. Cindy is gone, and then Dylan didn't win crap. He was given HOH. That was more when M was there. He's become more tolerable. Oh, when he was annoying. Dylan didn't win HOH. He was given HOH.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how this HOH plays on the live show. Well, I keep saying it's a live show. It's not a live show. We all know it's pre-taped. But I'm excited to see how the show plays out. If they show, like, him bribing people, why this is being tolerated this season, these bribes and these, like, whatever it is there that he's doing. But anyway, is that how Big Brother's going to be played in the future, with money bribes and...
Anyway, who does he put up?
Yeah, he puts up Jackie and he puts up Dimitri. And of course, we see this truce form from Dimitri and Dylan, which I think is very interesting. So the 2 alphas form this truce that they're gonna keep each other safe, and moving forward, at least for the next week, that they're gonna work, like, just be off each other's radar, because of course Dimitri wins veto. And then we see this other truce form between Ika and Jackie, which is super shocking. And they form a truce saying, at least for the next week, we will not put each other up.
So who's going to get replaced when Dylan takes himself down? Or what? Dimitri.
Pardon?
Who is going to go up in place of Dimitri when he takes himself off the block?
So there's a big push for Bruno to go up, but what, from the sounds of it, Cindy's going to go up and Cindy's going to go out.
That's devastating. Then she's going to have to walk in there and Ned is going to, like, eat her alive.
I kind of, like, I can't actually believe it because, for one, Cindy is the whole reason that Ika and Dimitri made this power play move, she listened to them and like was able to be basically be easily puppeted it by them, if that even makes sense. I
They're
don't
all
think
saying Cindy's going back. Cindy's going up. You're right, Mel.
and on top of that, I don't understand how this is beneficial for Ika's game. She has Cindy. Cindy made a huge move. She chose Ika. Why would you get rid of her if you know that she has your back like 100%? Because Bruno and Kevin tried to talk her out of putting Netta up and she didn't listen to them. So clearly that season 3 alliance isn't as strong as her allegiance to Ika. So why would you vote her out? That's my question to you. Why? Makes no sense to me. I'm so sad for Cindy. And on the other hand, Ika knowing that Dimitri Ika knowing that Kevin and Bruno are her strongest duo competitor in the house left, why wouldn't you try and break that up? Why wouldn't you push a little bit harder when you know that you're safe? Well, really, there was some talk about putting Ika potentially up too, because Bruno and Kevin were really pushing for that. So maybe that's why she's not pushing so hard for the Bruno and Kevin being put on the block. I don't know, but here we go. And the other weird alliance that was formed out of this Dylan winning HOH was Dylan and Karen. What are your thoughts on that alliance? I can't even believe
I'm
it.
so impressed with Karen. It's so rare in Big Brother, like US, Canada, other countries, I guess, I don't know, but just mostly those two countries, that an older person kind of comes in and plays it and like plays well. And I have really enjoyed her and I'm very impressed with her. So yeah, I don't know. Like I think like everybody's just kind of like it's life vest time. You gotta go where you gotta go. Like so, but anyway, we've been at this for 45 minutes. So do you want to say your secret veto thing and then we can wrap it up?
Yeah, let's do secret veto. I actually can't
I know
even.
nothing about whatever this is.
I think this is honest to God because of all the people that have been voted out that were the Big Brother's moneymakers this season. So Netta's gone, Gary's gone, Cassie's gone. Those are the 3 moneymakers for sure for people watching. I think this is a life vest for Ika when Ika's in danger. It's a life vest for her, for either her to save herself or Dimitri to save her. That's the only thing I can see when Ika's in danger. This little secret veto is going to be like pushed upon her, pushed upon Dimitri to make that big move and save her. The only thing is when are they gonna reveal it? Because Ika at this point doesn't seem to be in danger. And right now, according to like Twitterverse and all the tweets going on, Ika really, in my opinion, is the most tweeted about person right now, whether it be about her gameplay or whether it be about her showmance. What do you think? What do you think the secret veto is going to be? Do you think it's going to be one of those things that they threw up for a Neil that ended up being nothing? Remember his secret power?
I have no idea. I really don't know. I don't know enough about it to like comment, but I will be intrigued to see.
Al, not a Neil. Sorry, guys. I am a super fan.
Somebody's saying, how do you think Cindy is going to feel about being evicted on her birthday? I guess her birthday's on Thursday, so.
I feel sad. I actually was like super impressed by Cindy's gameplay this season. I was impressed by her gameplay on her season as well, the amount of comps she won. But just strategically, she's really laid back. She's laid low. And then up until this voting Netta out, which I think was her shining moment to be remembered and her downfall at the same time. I'm so sad for her, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think that like whatever happens with this like secret veto thing, I'll say this. I think Big Brother Canada, they've been really consistent with like keeping up with our US counterparts. But I think they always have one flop, and I hope it's this. Like, just at this point, let it just ride out because I want to see like gameplay strategy. I don't like this like, and all of a sudden we're bringing back all of a sudden we're bringing back like I hate that shit. Like, don't do that. Keep it normal. Just like now just play it out because you hate to see people go in a really sneaky, conniving way that they have no control. I mean, that happened to what was his name? Brendan on Big Brother Canada. Like the guy played such a good game and then it was just like he was screwed out. Like So I don't know. I don't like when they do that. I hope that doesn't happen in this case. We will see.
We will see. I'm excited nonetheless. I always get excited for like secret things where we have to find it and we don't know what it is. And yeah, I always get excited for the twist, but then I'm like, oh, another twist.
I
So
mean, they're going to share some birthday cake and jury, is what Big Brother Aunt said. Ew.
maybe. All right. Well, thank you so much for blowing up our chat room tonight. We really appreciated all of the comments as we went along and did our podcast tonight. We'll be back again next week. As always, we'll be tweeting out when we're back because I'm a shift worker and Lindsay is a busy working businesswoman. So we'll tweet out when we're back again. We're going to coordinate our schedules when we go offline. Thanks for tuning in to two Nova Scotia girls that love Big Brother. See you next week, guys.
Bye, guys.